of today. Just share my screen. So today's session, last session, is on topic very important topic in our for every professor, teacher in any field, whether teacher is teaching in elementary school or primary school or higher standards. So topic is classroom management techniques. So today's session will be a totally interactive session, and we will try to. I would also like to gain knowledge from you all, and I'll also share with you my experience, my knowledge, and it will be an interactive session. So first image. 1 minute, just I will clear this annotation. 1 minute. So can someone unmute yourself and tell me about this situation, the image which you can see in on your screen? Have you ever felt like this in your classroom, and why? Or you have not felt like that? Any one of you? Can you unmute yourself?
Ma'am, it happens with everybody in the initial few days of teaching, either at school level or PG level or this.
So, sir, you mean to say that it happens only at initial stage and later on it doesn't happen?
You'll learn how to, manage the class.
Okay. Anyone else?
Ma'am, when it is very difficult to manage the class due to any reason, because maybe the students are disturbing, or maybe we are having some parallel more responsibilities. Anyway, if we are not able to manage the class at that time, we feel like this.
Okay. Anyone else? So we have seen that majority of time we face this. Yes, with experience, you know how to tackle your classroom and how to deal with students whom you are teaching, whether you're teaching postgraduate students or undergraduate students or school kids. Tackling every type of different types of children, different type of students is you have to follow different techniques. Like if you are teaching in elementary school or to pre-primary section, their tackling of students is different because they are small kids. Then you go to primary, then you move to secondary and higher students, higher grade students. Again, tackling them is a different, altogether different ball game. So how do you make your so my presentation today will be divided into two parts, that is your virtual classroom management and your traditional classroom management. Why I have taken virtual classroom management, reason is in today's time majority of you all are taking virtual classrooms. So I think now this is the most important part till this lockdown and everything is clear. So we will first discuss about virtual classroom management. So first I'm going to ask you, how do you manage? Majority of you might be taking virtual classroom online classes. How do you try to make your virtual classroom pleasant and rewarding? I need some pointers from you all. You can unmute and tell me.
Ma'am, basically, teachers' body language and the kind of communication you do, it should reflect strong discipline. At the same time, you should provide room for students to communicate well also and to have a dialogue also.
Okay.
So body language is the most important part, what I feel.
And whose body language you're speaking about? Students' body language or professor's body language?
Professor's body language, ma'am.
Okay.
So when somebody, some teacher or me raise a hand, students understand now that it is time to be quiet. No need to even verbally say anything.
Okay. Anyone else?
Ma'am, if we are quizzing by providing the topic in advance, if we are providing the topic in advance, 1 day advance, so we can quiz and we can make an interactive class. When they speak, they have much focused class.
Okay, interaction. Yes.
Yes.
Anyone else? Just go on telling me pointers. Minimum 10 to 12
Ma'am,
pointers are required.
in the initial phase, you should make them comfortable. Initial few seconds.
Yeah.
Make them comfortable in the learning mode.
Okay.
You can
Ma'am,
share a little
yeah.
bit fun with them also. No issue. News, any current events or anything, so that they'll come into that framework of mind. And even we at times we have to make them slightly uncomfortable also in terms of their pre-decided sitting arrangements or pre-decided positions to avoid teacher also. That has to be made unstabilized.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes,
Give
ma'am.
them
Good afternoon,
activities.
ma'am.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
regarding
you can ask interesting question in the
Please, one by one. Others, please mute one by one.
initially. Initially, what we can do is to make the students attentive in the class. We can ask interesting questions, and we can just start from their point of view, just giving the introduction about the topic, asking questions, or first we can ask the questions. From their answers we can just introduce the concept, and we can just do the class in a very interactive way, ma'am.
Very nice, ma'am. Anyone else?
Yes,
We
ma'am.
can if we are taking classes online, as per the topic, we should not only first we should make two-way interaction, and other we can do is we should not only give them bookish knowledge. Whatever topic we are sharing, we can share some practical knowledge with them, and also something topics related to their books.
Okay, great.
And what I have done, reward system has been created to put a smiley or something, a crown on their DP that day, or something like some interesting video can be shown in firstly, and then we can start with the class.
Okay, great. Any other strategy? Please mute. Others, please mute.
Attractive PPT.
Dr. Poonam, ma'am, please, you can mute.
Yes, ma'am, one more thing which I am doing, like a timely follow-up or follow-up by the study material every day. It really helps them to continue with their studies on time also.
So, ma'am, you ask them frequently that what all things you are doing. Like
Yes, ma'am.
what all things you have completed,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
homework you have done, what extra studies you have done.
Yes, ma'am. Daily feedback about the studies also is required to keep them intact with the studies.
Okay, fine. So these are what I thought minimum 10 pointers I thought is important to discuss about this or more. So first pointer was body language of professors. I think even body language of students also matter. Then comes your communication. Communication of professor also plays a very important role. Please mute everyone. Communication of a professor also plays a very important role. Take example, if students in your class are from they are not very comfortable with English, so it is better that you use both languages. Like in Maharashtra, if student is not comfortable with English, we try to use Hindi also. Or in your Kerala, you can Tamil Nadu, you can use your Telugu, Malayalam, whatever language. So with that, students who are not comfortable with English, they'll also be comfortable and they will understand. Third is very, very important point, like in virtual classroom, when there is we don't meet face to face, so quiz interaction sessions becomes very important. In short, activities, we are going to discuss about what type of activities you can take in this virtual classroom. Then before starting any session, not only before starting, take example, suddenly all students have started taking online classes, so maybe 1 week, 2-3 days, they are not comfortable in this online mode. They require time to be comfortable, so teachers should give them time to be comfortable in this online mode. This fifth point, very, very important point is you discuss with them news, you discuss with them current issues rather than coming to your topic. Discuss with them what is happening around you, about situation, about COVID, about hospitals, how we are recovering, whatever is happening around you, you can discuss with them. Then activities and interesting questions you can ask them, and when you ask them interesting questions, maybe you have already framed questions in advance. In advance, you have framed your question and you are asking students questions so that you come to your topic. Maybe it, and obviously it is a two-way communication. GK practical knowledge is must, not only bookish knowledge, but what is practical. Take example, if I am teaching monetary policy, if I am teaching monetary policy in economics, so I should tell my students what is current CRR, what is current SLR, when was recent monetary policy conducted, who is etc. etc. About new things you're going to tell them, what is happening, what is, make them to read current monetary policy, practical knowledge. Then comes your reward system. Reward system also plays a very important role for small kids. They, you know, in primary, pre-primary section, they give you smileys on your hand if you perform good. Similarly, for a bigger, higher standards, you can give them reward system. You can give them, you can also motivate them. You can also give them appreciation. They feel very happy when you give them appreciation also. This is very important one. Practical PPT or PPT should be with pointers, with images, with multimedia, etc. Videos should be there so that students are engaged in your session. And last point is about follow-up. Follow-up is a very, very important point. Like whatever you're teaching, you just don't have to teach it and leave it. Yes, mera kaam ho gaya, I have done my work, it is fine. But at least when you take follow-up, you come to know whether students are understanding, whether students are able to solve their problems. From feedback, you will come to know. If they are not comfortable, if they are finding that topic difficult, you can revise it again. So these are some pointers which you all gave me. So now we will start with virtual classroom. How to be boss of your classroom. Okay, boss, nowadays you have to be, there is a mentor-mentee relationship. You have to be facilitator rather than being a boss when you're teaching students of this generation. Now, there are some tips which I am going to share with you, my point of view which I am going to share with you. There are many tips, but some important points which I've thought that are, which you should keep in mind when you conduct virtual classroom. Set your rules and expectations ahead of time. What do you mean by this? Your rules and regulations before you start your session. Like in many a times, even in traditional classroom when we teach, we set our rules. Yes, I will not allow student late in my class. You have to be disciplined. You don't have to talk in my session. If you have any doubt, you can raise your hand. You don't have to murmur, etc. So some rules and expectations are there. We have project. If I give you deadline of project, you have to submit me on time. So these rules are also there in your traditional classroom. These rules should also be followed in your virtual classroom. Discuss rules and norms with your students. And always, even nowadays, when you can also take suggestion from your students, sometimes make them part of your process in establishing rules. Ask them for some suggestion, ask them for some ideas to structure a session or structure a lesson. Always try that use polite and respectful language. Now, the generation we are teaching, it is not a time that we should shout to our kids, shout to children or higher standard students. Yes, sometimes we get angry, obviously we shout, but we have to avoid it. We have to be polite. Respectful language should be used, and you have to continuously maintain eye contact. Eye contact is a very important part. Many professors are there who sometimes don't maintain eye contact. They look here and there rather than looking to students. So again, that is a drawback. So you have to be very, very careful with your body language, with your expression, with your eye contact, etc. Dress code. Dress code, obviously in colleges, in traditional classroom also there is dress code. For school kids there is uniform. In virtual classroom, there is no that dress code like you have to wear formal and sit. No, but some dress code rules you have to give, because some students are sitting in pajamas or something other they are wearing which is not good. So take example, if they are wearing pajamas also, many a times you will not be able to see that pajama. But in case if you can see that student, whole student you can see. So wearing pajamas and t-shirt is not good. So some rules you should set up, and these rules and expectations should be before you start your session, before you start your class, which is important. Next rule, no distraction. Phones should be on mute mode. And many a times schools give you this guidelines that you should not sit near your doorbell. Your parents and all, you should keep your on mute mode, on your mute mode, and try to encourage this. They also tell that younger students should keep their toys away during session, because many a times they have seen that children play with their toys along with listening sessions. So, and even if you have any doubt, rather than directly speaking, directly unmuting your mic, there is an option of raise your hand in Zoom. You can use your raise your hand, and then you can ask your questions when moderator or resource person or professor tells you to ask. Always try to set your behavior. You set an example for your behavior, like how you will behave with your students. Students will behave same with you. With this, I'm speaking about today's generation. Lead by an example. Establish your dress code. Use polite language. Avoid distractions, etc. Students will always notice all rules, all disciplines, etc. So you have to keep in mind these things, and beforehand you should inform your students. So this is first rule, first tip of virtual management of classroom. Second, always establish a routine. What do you mean by routine? Take example, if you are starting your session with asking questions. You are starting your session with asking questions from your previous section. Yesterday, what I have taught, today I'm going to ask you. Like yesterday, I have taught you about, I have discussed with you about contemporary issues in traditional and digital education. Today, before starting my session, I will ask you about that first, and then I will move to my new topic. So this is my routine. Every professor has a different routine. So whatever routine you're following, try to follow that regularly. For example, if you prefer to start the session by checking homework, you're taking your attendance and you're checking homework. Do this step every time. Don't change it frequently. Do this step every time, whatever routine you're following at the beginning of a session or at the end of the session. So that will be more effective. Third, deal with discipline issues in the virtual classroom immediately and without any exceptions. Can anyone tell me what type of discipline issues can come in virtual classroom? You can unmute and tell me what type of discipline issues comes in virtual classroom.
Yes, ma'am. We ask them to keep their video on every time,
Yes.
so that we can understand what their body language and where is their focus.
Okay. Any other discipline
Ma'am,
issue?
may I, ma'am? May I?
Yes, yes, sir.
Sometimes they sleep in the class and they mute the video and audio also. When they are not listening to us, how can we know? By device, they can be present in the class, but they are not present in front of us. That is discrimination, you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Sending unnecessary messages which is not relevant to the topic.
Then chat box. Yes. Great, ma'am.
Yes.
So some discipline issues, you have told me sometimes students sleep in class, you tell them to on your videos. With videos, you know, many times you tell them to on videos, but there are students where there is connectivity issue. So if they keep their videos on, so their bandwidth, more bandwidth goes there. So because of that reason, many students don't keep their video on. Maybe they are giving some reasons or what, God knows that. And sometimes they unnecessarily unmute themselves and disturb whole classes. What ma'am said, sending unnecessary chats, unnecessary images they send. Once, you know, I was taking my online session and suddenly one student changed that background and kept my image in that background. I was thinking that how this background changed. So such type of mistake, such type of mischief they do in class. Distract professor. So how you are going to deal with this discipline issue? Everyone please mute.
On ke off?
Dr. Bharat, please mute. How you're going to deal with this discipline issue is a very important rule. You have to be very clear with discipline issue, what penalty or what punishment or how you're going to deal with it. It should be very immediate. You should not wait for that. Dr. Bharat, can you please mute? Dr. Bharat. It is a good idea to post. Can you please mute Dr. Bharat? So you have to keep your balance in a virtual classroom to deal with discipline problems immediately. Whenever you see that some behavior is not acceptable,
Dinesh?
1 minute, I will mute.
Yes, ma'am. What assistance you need?
Sir, can you please mute Dr. Bharat? Continuously there is disturbance from his side.
I guess. Yes, I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, this is also one of the example of indiscipline, please.
Yes, yes, great, sir. You know, many times participants and students also, they don't realize that their audio is unmute. They are not on mute mode. So that creates disturbance. And they are not listening also when we tell them to please mute. Maybe they are not present there at that time. So it is good idea to handle this situation, different distractions. Keep your rules and regulations very clear. Discipline issues should be, when you start your session, you should make it clear to your students that if you break any rules, or anything, if you don't behave properly, such type of actions will be taken from our side. Fourth, very important point, which ma'am also said earlier, include everyone and encourage every question and include everyone in discussion. Try to tell students, motivate students to ask more and more questions, and make your session more interactive, so that when your session is interactive, students also get interested in learning about that. And include various projects in this virtual classroom, include various projects, teamwork projects, and divide the students into group working in different breakout room. I told you there are small rooms where you can work on Zoom. You can separate it. Yesterday we have discussed. So you can divide a project, you can divide groups, students into groups and give them different projects so that they can work together, and that will also help them to gel together, so that they also know each other. And you know, many a times now, if you ask students, they miss their friends, they miss their classmates, they miss their professors also. So when they work together, they chit chat with each other also, they work also together, so they feel happy. So you have to include everyone and encourage more and more questions when you take virtual classroom. Very important point, praise and motivate. You have to praise and motivate your students with even a small thing. If they are doing good, please praise them, please motivate them. So students will also think that yes, we are important. Professor is praising me if I'm giving answers, I'm giving my ideas. So he or she will be more involved in session. You can also motivate adult learners with different things, like creating a list of top achievers. Yes, these were top achievers in my test. These were top achievers in my GD, which I have taken group discussion. Give them opportunity to become team leader. So that will give them some some power, some authority. Praise them, and they will be happy. Sixth, you professors, teachers have to be confident and positive. Very important point. Positive, you have to be positive always. Even if there is distraction, there is some negative thing happening in front of you, then to be positive. Be confident in yourself. Whenever you are teaching, if you are confident, obviously that confidence, and this confidence comes with your preparation level. Take example, if you are not confident now the children's in which generation we are teaching to our students, that generation is very smart. They'll come to know that whether that professor is confident or not, whether that professor knows topic or not. I've seen when I was a student, we also come to know that yes, this professor is not prepared, or sometimes professor teaches some wrong topic, and students are nowadays very well aware also about what is correct, what is wrong. So with your preparation level, you can get confidence. The more you practice online teaching, the better you will able to manage your virtual classroom in your own unique style. Every professor has a unique style. There is no need to copy any professor. You have own unique style and follow it. Always believe in yourself. Now, again, yesterday we discussed that a teacher should be a facilitator and mentor. Yes, teacher is teacher obviously, but now you have to do work of facilitator and also a mentor. Nowadays, the professor or a teacher has to be very friendly with students. You have to create a delightful and friendly atmosphere in your virtual classroom. Here, not only in virtual classroom, as we are discussing about virtual classroom tips, but even in your traditional classroom, you have to maintain friendly atmosphere with your students. If you be very strict, very stringent, and you are very strict in each and everything, so students will not enjoy. You have to keep balance. You have to keep balance, strict with friendly atmosphere, where it is required to be strict there in terms of deadlines, in terms of submissions. But when you are in class teaching, be happy, crack some jokes, make them happy, allow them to crack some jokes, allow them to share with you something, some interesting activities, so that mood of classroom is vibrant, fresh. A positive attitude is much more effective with students of all ages than punishment. Rather than giving punishment, even if student has done some wrong, before giving him punishment, giving some warning, explain him. You can explain him like प्यार से आप उसको समझा सकते हो that don't do this, why you're doing this, etc. Rather than shouting or giving punishment. Yes, if then also the student is not understanding after giving several warnings, then you can punish them. But again, nowadays punishment also is not same like we used to get punishment in our time. So students like teachers who are friendly but firm. Firm means you have to be firm. Friendly. Take example, if I have given deadline of 10th June assignment, that all have to submit assignment by 10th June. That is my deadline. If I am friendly, if my students tell me that, ma'am, I will submit on 15 June, other student tell me that I will submit on 12 June. No, I'm not going to allow you. In this submission, in terms of studies, in terms of test, exam, I have to be firm. Yes, friendly you can be in classroom when you're teaching, etc. That is fine. But firm in all, whatever you have to complete, whatever you have scheduled today, you are going to complete in your classroom, finish this much portion, you have to do that. Be easygoing and open-minded, but also make sure everybody follows established norms. No one should take, any student should not take you for granted because you're friendly. So you have to manage balance, you have to be balanced in both the cases. Now, focus on engagement. Focus on engagement is must in virtual classroom. Engagement is must in virtual classroom, because I've seen that in virtual classroom, many a times virtual classroom sessions are either of 1 hour or 1.5 hours. Sometimes I think that 1.5 hours is also a long time. So attention span of students is basically, you can say 30 to 45 minutes in virtual classroom. So you should try to keep your session short and try to do some activity so that any concept you're teaching. Take example, if I am teaching stress management, if I'm teaching stress management, so maybe I take one activity. I'm teaching stress management to postgraduate students. So after I complete my session of 30 to 45 minutes, I take one activity. My activity is taking stress interview, where many of the corporates nowadays take your stress interview when you go for interviews. So there are several rounds. There is personal interview, there is technical round, there is stress interview also. So maybe I give them demo of how stress interview is taken, so that they come to know how to manage stress. So this is one example I gave you of activity of stress management. Similarly, in whatever topic, whichever field you are and whichever topic you're teaching, try to get some activities in that topic and tell students to do that activity, so that students are engrossed and they will be engaged and happy in digital learning. And the same thing you have to follow when you do traditional classroom also. We will discuss that. Now, real-time communication. What do you mean by real-time communication? In virtual classroom, see, in virtual classroom, your recorded sessions also come, and your face-to-face, which now we are doing face-to-face communication also come, or real-time communication also comes. So many a times now professors or colleges, they are giving recorded sessions to students and telling them that, yes, you watch that. Yes, you can do that, but have balance in that. Face-to-face communication or real-time communication is must. Don't spend too much time and energy only on recording videos, because take example, if you are recording video on any banking topic of CRR, you're recording video. There are n number of very, very good videos available in YouTube. Yes, you can record it, but it is not 100% surety that your video will be one of the best videos. Already there are best videos available in market, professionals are making it. So you can make it. If you wish to make it, you can make it. Colleges make, but try to have real-time communication with students instead of focusing more on videos. What students need from us is personal connection. Videos, so they recorded videos, they can also watch on YouTube. Whole class meetings to create sense of normalcy. When you do personal face-to-face communication or you do real-time communication, there students feel that yes, we are sitting. They have a feeling that yes, we are sitting in a same traditional classroom. Teacher is speaking to us. She is discussing with us, sharing with us some good things, some jokes, etc. Also give students time to allow some discussion, one-to-one help you can give to students, maybe not in the session, maybe afterwards, if they have any issue, if they have any doubt, to keep them motivated. Students, always remember, students need human connection now more than ever, and face-to-face communication, real-time communication will help you in that. Very important point, which in pointers also we have written, start slowly. Now, you know, this is a sudden shift. If you take example of postgraduate students or graduate students or undergraduate students who are studying of FY, SY, they are, you can say, big kid, then too they are facing difficulty in switching to online learning. You imagine kids of junior KG, primary section, pre-primary section. You can imagine suddenly when you used to go to school for 6 to 7 hours and suddenly now you're sitting in front of PC for 3 to 4 hours. So that is making them, that is difficult for them, and continuously staring on screen, that is affecting their health also, their eyes and many things. And sometimes when video is on also they sleep. Small kids, big kids also sleep, big children also sleeps, but especially I'm speaking about small kids. So shift to online learning has been extremely sudden. So to even not only for students, I would say also for teachers here. Teachers, many teachers are not tech savvy. They are also facing problems sitting in front of PC continuously, doing all sessions, making lessons, etc. And many of them, you know, are sitting in, professors are sitting in front of PC for more than 10 hours a day, continuously working, college work, making lessons, teaching online, etc. So pressure is not only on students but also on professors. So what we can do is we should start slowly and give some time to students so that they get that pace of studying. Realize that first week or two, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, already that has happened. We have started online sessions from maybe April end or May. Many of colleges have started this. So try to give them some time so that they are normal and they are very comfortable in this. First, when you're starting any session, try to keep it fun, easy and supportive. Try to keep it fun on your, when you're starting any new topic or when you're starting any new session, try to support students, keep it fun, easy also. Don't go directly to difficult topic. And once students pick up pace, they are comfortable, they are replying you, maybe you are asking them some questions so that you come to know whether they are understanding or not. Once they are comfortable, then you can increase your pace, you can go little bit in faster mode. Very important point, start slowly. Now this is again related to a first point which we have done. First point, it is more elaborated on terms of behavioral expectation. So many a time students are already in different learning environment, maybe in bedrooms and all, wearing variety of clothing rather than school uniform. So now schools, I know about schools, colleges, they have not made any mandatory. How much I am aware of, you can share with me if you have about any experience about your own college. In schools, they have made compulsory that you have to sit in uniform properly, or plate this pony and all you have to make, and properly groomed you have to sit. They have made compulsory, and they have clearly told eating and drinking is not allowed. Yes, if you want to drink water, you have to take permission from professor, and eating is allowed in break. You can't eat in between the session. It is environment should be a very quiet environment. And before you start any session, rules should be there of positive behavior management in online classes. It's very important, positive behavior management. You know, in chat section, but once a ma'am said in pointers that many a times unwanted chat they are sending. You know, they are also sending chats to privately also. Privately chats also they are sending to their friends, disturbing them. So if you send private chats, you will not come to know, professor will not come to know that they are sending private chat. But so there are some options in Zoom. In Zoom, there are options that you can chat only with host. You can't chat with anyone else. So whenever you're taking online sessions, you can on that option that you can chat only with host. Host is your professor. Take example, if I am taking session, I am host, so they can only chat with me. Others, no one can send chat to any of the other their classmates. So that acts a very effective tool, I think, when you're using Zoom. Yes. Now teach them about plagiarism. This is basically about higher standard students. Teach them about plagiarism. Like whenever you're giving them any test, take example, if you have given them any online test, students copy test, you will not come to know. Yesterday also we have discussed there are various softwares available now, but these softwares are not mass available. Mass availability of softwares is not there. So it is easier to cheat, easier to copy projects or whatever assignment you are giving them. So make them understand that don't do this. Many a times this plagiarism, many colleges, they check your assignment, plagiarism check is done. You have to put that assignment in plagiarism report, you have to submit along with your assignment. Many colleges follow this, but still it is not at larger scale. Limited colleges follow this. So be proactive in what you teach and what is plagiarism and how you can avoid it. Try to explain students. So these were some 12 important tips we have done about managing your virtual classroom, virtual management classroom tips. Next, new thing which I thought that I should share with you all. Now we are shifting or switching the discipline. This is for teachers basically. We are switching the discipline mindset, or you can say we are approaching discipline with a restorative mindset. Punitive discipline and restorative discipline, we will see all differences. From this, we are shifting to this. And if you have not shifted, try to shift, because this will help you in long run, keeping in mind today's generation. Now, punitive discipline. In how earlier when we used to study in colleges or schools, there teachers used to create fear. By fear, teachers used to command respect through warnings, through threats. But now you have to gain your respect by becoming model for your students. How you be, you are role model for your students. How you behave, how you speak, everything students will imitate you. They will follow what you're doing. So you have to become role model for your students. You can't give, nowadays you can't give threats, warnings, etc. Yes, we give, but many a times it is not helpful. Students don't listen. So how you can gain respect is by being role model for them. Next, teachers enforce rules to keep students quiet and working. But now to keep them quiet, yes, rules are there. Now also rules many professors follow, and it is followed on large scale. But another way to make students quiet is engage them, continuously engage them, so that engage them, give them some activity, so themselves they are quiet. They will work on that project or they will work on that assignment. Allow them to converse also with you. Two-way communication, allow them. So when you engage students in two-way communication, when you interact with students, they will always be disciplined and they will be interested also in session. Next, control. Teachers tell students when they are doing something wrong, but here you have to support it. You have to tell students, you have to help them in reflecting their behavior, that see, reflect yourself, you're doing something wrong, and help them to make changes. Here we directly used to point out that yes, this is wrong, you should not do this. But today's time, for today's generation, you have to reflect, you have to make students to reflect what you have done wrong and try to bring changes in them, help them to bring changes. In earlier public, teachers used to shout louder, stricter voice. Whoever was misbehaving or behavior was not appropriate. But now, if take example, if I see any student whose behavior is not good, I avoid in class. Later on, I call him in privately and I explain, I tell him that this is your behavior and try to be keep your behavior proper, manage your behavior, and don't do this again. Rather than insulting or shouting in front of public, teachers are now giving warnings or explaining them in privately, so that they also don't feel bad, students. Next, teachers seem angry and blame students when they misbehave. But again, now you have to understand, yes, they are students, they will do like that. They can't keep quiet whole lecture. So you have to use gentle tone, polite tone, and show understanding when students misbehave. 1 or 2 times we ignore also. Many times we ignore when we take sessions. But once it is your water is going above your head, then you can directly point out to student or maybe make him understand. Earlier we used, now punishment was followed. Good behavior is based on fear of punishment. Many a time students behave good because they thought that otherwise I'll get punishment. But now your good behavior is also based not only on fear of punishment but your internal desire. Yes, I desire that I have to behave good. I have to behave good with my professors, with my colleagues, with my peers. If you have internal desire also, you will behave. So this is the shift where we are moving from punitive discipline to restorative discipline. Classrooms are changing. That change can come from new generation of teachers. Even if you are not, if professors are from not new generation, you have to be like them. You have to follow new generation. You have to use emerging technologies. You have to check about students' behaviors and various combination of factors. Classrooms are changing in these all factors. As a result, teachers' classroom management strategies are also changed, as we discussed here. Earlier we used to follow this. Now try to follow this, and many of the professors are following this restorative discipline. So this is again a classroom management technique, keeping in mind today's generation. If your classroom management techniques fall, if you're still following earlier classroom management techniques, so you will struggle continuously to keep students engaged. So you have to change yourself according to today's time and change your classroom management techniques. Now, this was all about virtual classroom, which we have discussed. Now we are going to discuss about traditional classroom, how you try to make your traditional classroom more pleasant, rewarding, more effective, how you manage your classroom. So I need 10 pointers again. You can unmute yourself and let me know. Anyone?
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Motivating them by asking questions or by showing pictures or anything else.
Yeah, showing pictures, asking questions. Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Become more friendly with them.
Friendly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. If we are sharing our responsibility with one of them or two of them, they are more involved or they are ready to do that. And this way, their interest in class generates actually.
You mean to say you are assigning responsibility to your students?
Some of our responsibility, yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Keeping the classroom environment light.
Keeping classroom environment light.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you elaborate on light?
Light means with friendly behavior with the students, and sometimes in between we share some jokes.
Yes, yes, yes. Easy going maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Next.
The class may be more interactive and we can.
Ma'am, excuse me.
Interactive. Yes.
Hello. Ma'am, good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Ma'am, before going to start the session, just give the general point of the topic is very important, I think so.
General viewpoint of the topic which you are going to teach.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I always enter my class with a smile, whatever my mood is, because it always makes the other students smile as well. And even though I'm a chemistry teacher, but whenever I enter my class, I always discuss news with them and take what are their views on it. For the first 5 minutes, we interact like this.
Great.
Creating curiosity, like never reveal the topic at the beginning.
Creating curiosity, yes. Yes, Vinod sir.
Group discussion, madam.
Hello.
Yes, Devendra sir.
Basically, what I feel, maybe I'm wrong or correct. You just tell me, because when we enter the class, I think that we should discuss directly, indirectly, and try to create a good atmosphere in the class so that the student also feel very lively, and we can then we can start our particular topic. So automatically, interest of the student will create in the class, and class always going on in right way. So like lively environment is very very important, and through a form of informal discussion initially, so the student also feel very comfortable in the class. And then you can do your topic effectively, because discipline is also maintained, as well as students are very effective and they will listen to you thoroughly. That's I'm thinking right now.
Great, sir.
If I,
Ma'am,
something you want,
let them free to say
or we can
anything.
add in that.
Let them free to ask anything. Let them free to say anything.
Free to
Freedom
ask,
is
yes.
more important.
Freedom, yes.
Yeah.
Madam, revision of the class at the end.
Revision
Just
what
in-
we have covered in classroom. Yes.
Yes, just
Yes,
in
revision.
5 minutes. Yes.
Take students in your confidence.
Confidence. Okay.
Yes.
So these are
Ma'am.
15 points.
Ma'am, actually, I used to ask them what was their observation since morning on the day of the class. What I discuss about their observation. So
Observations.
it helps them to, yes, ma'am, their observation.
My observation about your session.
No, not about my session. When they started their day, what were their relevant observation? Maybe about the subject, about their stream, about their health or something.
Okay.
Hello, madam.
Fine. Yes, sir.
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
Identification of students' problem.
Yeah. Listen to students' problem.
Identifications. Personal problems.
Okay.
Any.
So, sir, problem you are speaking about their subject problem or personal problem?
Maybe both. First personal problem, then subject problems.
Okay, fine. So we will we'll discuss this. There are 17 pointers which you have given me. So very very important pointers. Motivation. You have to motivate your students in traditional classroom. Keep them motivated so that they also are engrossed in your session. Multimedia, use of multimedia is must. Nowadays, many colleges, schools, they are using this smart classroom. You can say use of PowerPoint, projectors, etc. to teach them rather than this traditional textbook method or only teaching from textbook. Friendly, you have to be friendly. This we have discussed in a virtual classroom also. You also require virtual motivation in virtual classroom as same in traditional classroom also. Responsibility, you assign some responsibility to students so they also feel that yes, I am a part of classroom and they feel happy. You give some authority to some students to do this work. Then this was the very like I felt very important point, like when you enter your class with smile. Many times when professor's mood is not good, students also come to know that yes, aaj ma'am gusse mein aayi hai, ma'am is very angry. So sometimes if they want to ask something, they will not ask you. Or take example, if a professor is angry and someone asks you some doubt and you felt that was a silly doubt, you will shout at that student. So this happens. If you be smiling, if you smile, so students will also feel happy. They will also smile with you. This creates a very positive impact. Sharing news, current knowledge. As ma'am said that she is the chemistry teacher, but she discusses with students general knowledge, current knowledge. Any field you take, general knowledge is must for everyone. So this is again a great point. Creating curiosity. Take example, if you're teaching any topic, you're teaching about any topic like astrology or any topic about alien. So try to create curiosity in them and then you can teach them. So that will help you make it effective. Group discussion will keep your students engrossed. Everyone please mute. It's a request. Group discussion will keep you engrossed. Observation. Sir said that ma'am said what observation you have done in the whole day from morning, what you have observed in your subject or in classroom or when you have entered school or college, what observation and what was your learning from there. So again, that also makes them that yes, professor is asking me. Then comes your keeping classroom environment easygoing. Easygoing is friendly. You know, many a times when we ask doubts to professor, that professor gets angry and said, you don't understand when I teach you. And okay, once he will explain you. Maybe some student don't understand after explaining once also. If that student asks you again, you get angry. So many a times, keeping in mind the situation and that professor is not replying or getting angry or insulting you, students don't ask questions. So keep your environment, this one situation I gave you of doubts. There are many other points like keeping an environment easygoing. I'll give you my example. Like as I am teaching in postgraduate college, so they all are bigger children. So there, what happens, take example, if someone is getting some important call from their home, in between my session, they ask me that, ma'am, there is important call from my house, can I go? I allow them. So that is not a big deal. So for higher standard students, we have to keep little bit liberty so that they have some liberty when we are taking. And obviously, discipline with that we have to maintain discipline also. Keep your session interactive. Interactive is must. And this again, I would like to share my example with you. In our PGDM, we have each session of 3 hours. So you can imagine 1 hour session becomes such a big task, and there we have to teach one subject for 3 hours. And if it is a practical subject, 3 hours go like that, like 1.5 hours is there, then you have a break of 15-20 minutes and then remaining time. If it is a practical subject, then students also are engrossed, they do solving, they start solving sums. So the 3 hours, how it goes, it's very easy for them. But there are majority of subjects are theory subjects. Now, in theory subjects, how you are going to take this 3 hour session? 3 hours you are not going to teach continuously. Students will sleep in 1 hour only. Even how much interactive you keep your session, how much interesting your PPT is, anything. But at least there is some period of time where students get, attention span of students is reduced and students get bored. Their mind is full, their brain is full listening to your topic. So what I follow in my class is, before break session is there of 1 hour 15 minutes. So at that time, I take topics which I have to teach them. Like make use of PPT, I teach them topics, what I have to cover, my syllabus, I teach them. Or maybe 1.5 hours I teach them. Then they take break. After break, when they come, I either take quiz of that topic what I have covered, or any activity or group discussion related to that topic. So that the topic which I am covering along with activity, they get confidence that yes, this is the way. Or any interview or any case study in management colleges, we follow case study method. So after break, I discuss with them some case studies, maybe case I've given them prior, or on the spot I've given them to read, and on the spot I tell them to present. Maybe some half an hour or 15-20 minutes I give them to read. So in such a way, you can try to keep your sessions interactive so that students don't get bored. General viewpoint of different topics, you can take any topic, you can discuss. Good atmosphere, lively atmosphere plays a very important role. And if your atmosphere is lively, students will also enjoy, they will not get bored in your session. Freedom to ask, again it comes in this, good atmosphere will be there. Again, I'll try to give you one example which I follow in my classroom. When I teach any practical subject, I tell them, whenever they are doing some sums, I go to their place and I see that what they are doing. And when I go to their place, they ask me. That time also, if someone is not comfortable in asking in front of whole class, there are many students who are not comfortable in asking in front of whole class. So they call me at their place and they discuss with me there, and they tell me, okay, ma'am, I am not able to understand this. Can you explain me this? And maybe in my class, more than 5 to 6 times I repeat that any doubt, ask me again, I will explain you 10 times. Ask me there and there doubt, so that your doubt is clear. Don't take your doubts at home. So maybe students feel comfortable when asking doubts and their concept is also clear. Next, revision, very important point. Whatever you have covered in session, maybe in last 5 to 10 minutes, you can revise that this points we have covered. These topics are important topics which you should know. Confidence, quiz, GD, these all things will come in your activities. So these are some pointers which you have given me. So we'll discuss. Very, very important point for a professor, other than knowledge, your study material, whatever you have preparation level, the first important point which every professor should have with smile, enthusiasm. You know, when you enter your classroom, your attitude, your smile, your enthusiasm level and how you're teaching, that shows. And the students can easily catch that, the students can easily notice that whether this professor is has enthusiasm to teach us, enthusiastic to teach us, or that professor is for namesake teaching us slowly, very calmly, and not at all interested. Students can understand everything I'm repeating. So you have to bring some excitement level in class, so that will improve your students' interest, participation level, and even learning. If professor is only not interested, so again students will also not be interested in that. And many a times professors just go on teaching from PPT, they go on reading, or from textbook they go on reading. Many times they don't explain also what is there in book. I have seen professors, accountancy professors I have seen, who sit and teach. In accountancy, you can imagine you have to draw a P&L statement, profit and loss, balance sheet, etc. That professor in last 3 months takes in one semester 3 to 4 months, when college is open, in that semester 3 months he was sitting on chair teaching, sitting, not using a single chalk on blackboard for teaching accountancy. So you can imagine. So you have to see in which field and what topic you're teaching, and be enthusiastic in teaching. Many a times enthusiasm won't make rowdy students behave well, or some misbehaved students are there. Anything you do to manage them, try to engross interest in them, they will be same, but at least little bit changes you will see in them. They will hold your attention. Rowdy students are basically that students who are not behaving properly in your class. Next, start a tech of policy. Very important point. Now it depends on which class students you are teaching. So in colleges, many professors have that keep your cell phone on switch off mode or on mute mode. If you are having this iPad and anything, please keep aside. No tablets are allowed. Smart watches are also not allowed, because that things are distracting. So these rules you have to be very clear. Many times professors, what they do, if they hear some message tone or some ringing tone, they snatch cell phone from student and keep it with her for some time, so that next time student remember. One situation I have seen, one professor in my college, what she has done is, there is lock code in your phone, password we keep. So take example, if you type password 5 to 10 times, you type wrong password, so your cell phone gets blocked for 1 hour, maybe for 1 hour, or sometimes for 20-25 minutes. So that person was having, I don't remember which brand cell phone he was having, but his cell phone got locked for 1 hour. So professor returned her that cell phone, take, now your phone will not be open for 1 hour. Next time if you do again, I will do this same thing. So maybe some tricks you can follow in your classroom, so that to avoid students from distracting from this gadgets. Prepare, very important point. Now every time from the generation where when we were studying till now, preparation plays a very important role. Whenever you are teaching, even if you are teaching that subject from last 20 years, you don't think that if you're teaching that subject from last 20 years, there is no requirement of preparation. Yes, preparation is required. You have to keep yourself updated according to today's time, what latest information is there in your subject. Maybe some teaching techniques have been changed, etc. So you have to be very prepared when you're teaching your subject. And in this internet time, students are also well prepared. So you have to teach them something different, which is not there in Google, or which they can themselves understand. Try to teach them something different, which will make you unique. So preparation plays a very important role. And students nowadays can easily catch that this professor is not prepared. Professor is not able to explain me properly. Some issue is there. Students easily understand this. Create first step compliance. It is same thing. First step compliance is basically when you start your session or when you start your subject, rules and regulations which you have to follow. Whenever I go to my classroom, if you don't have to speak, or someone if I see continuously speaking on last benches, I tell them to come in front and sit. So I change their place, that you are not going to sit with your friends, because 2-3 times I've noticed you're continuously speaking with your friend. Better next time you don't sit with her. So some steps you can follow, so that your some compliance, some rules and regulations should be there. And many a times we tell our students, look at screen, look on board, blackboard, what I'm writing. Don't look here and there. So some rules are there which you have to keep set in every class, for a productive start. Now, all work, remember to play. You don't have to continuously teach in your class. If you're taking 1.5 hour session, don't continuously teach students. Students will get bored. So make them to play, make them to do some activity. This play is basically for smaller kids. For higher standards, you can do some activities, some games. Maybe last 5-10 minutes, you can play some Antakshari, etc. Yes, we can do that because students also need some change. But again, it depends on your college policy, what all things are like allowed. Some colleges are very strict. They don't allow such things. How much autonomy you have to conduct these sessions, it depends on college to college. So you can reduce your classroom stress by making jokes or encouraging laughter, fostering creativity, recognize students' accomplishment, what students have accomplished, some rewards, some trophies he has got in some other extracurricular activities. Recognize that, encourage student engagement, and always be positive. These all things are there in your virtual classroom also. Same. Next, master transitions. Now, what do you mean by transition? Continuously, the professor is teaching in one tone. You can't do this. Only you're teaching from your PPT. Don't do this. If you're teaching, try to give some examples. Try to crack some joke so that mood of student is changed. Or maybe one take example, if I am taking a session, I spoke for some time, then I told you that you tell me pointers, what you face, because we all are professors here. You also might be knowing various tricks, so many tricks of managing virtual classroom. So this is like we are doing interaction. You also have to follow this transition. If you follow this transition, you will be, your session will be, your students will be more engaged. They will not be lost. They will be engaged and your session will be more effective. Master transitions. Now, in traditional classroom also there are group projects given, there is collaboration projects given. Why these projects are given to, for various things these projects are given, so that students come to know about each other. They also come to know that how they have to work as a team. Working individually is different rather than working in team. In individually, you only think about yourself. You do what you like. But when you're working in team, when you're working in a group, when you are given group project, you have to listen of everyone. Everyone's viewpoint you have to keep in mind. There are various conflicts also that happen in group work. 2 people are working, 2 people are not working. This happens. So professors, teachers try to give them some assignment of collaboration so that it gives opportunity to students to connect with each other. And this will create more positive learning environment in your classroom. It will encourage relationship building. Students will become more friendly with each other. So your classroom environment will be more vibrant. Again, be a facilitator, not a cause of frustration. Try to be facilitator. A teacher's job is to be a mentor, to guide students, give them good choices. Don't tell them that you have to do this. Don't enforce them. Don't force them that do this, you have to do this, etc. Try to be facilitator, share with them some knowledge. Tell them these are good choices, this is bad choices, now it is your decision. Learners own their success or failure. So this can be basically for higher students, higher standard students. Smaller students, pre-primary, primary section, there you have to force them. Now I would like to discuss with you this term that is known as digital natives. The ability to catch the hold and attention of today's learner is an achievement. In today's time, learners are so distracted that to catch their attention span is a hurdle or achievement in itself. So you have to try different methods. Why? Because students nowadays have shorter attention spans. Traditional lecture-based classroom will no longer capture your students' attention. You have to use blended learning, mix of online, traditional, using multimedia, interaction, activities, etc. So these digital natives require interactive learning rather than passive learning. Now, anyone, can you tell me meaning of this digital natives? Anyone have heard about this term, digital natives?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I feel that digital natives is because they remain online the entire day. This is the generation of making TikToks and Instagram videos, and these videos are like 30 seconds, 1 minute. So that is what their attention span remains nowadays.
Great, great. So digital native, this today's generation are also known as digital natives, where they are born with technology itself. They are bored with this traditional textbooks and lectures. They want immediate response. They want instant assessment. Everything they want immediate. From young age, today students are constantly entertained by video games, TVs, movies. Take example of small kid, 2 years old kid. What we do when they can understand these poems and ABCD, we show them YouTube videos. We don't show them from books. We show them videos, and that they feel more entertained. So you can imagine this generation from birth they are aware about technology. So now we will see difference between. There are two types of people. Like if you take our generation, we come under this digital immigrants. What do you mean by digital immigrants? Where at our time technology was not so fast forward, or maybe some technology was not available also. But now we have immigrated to it. We are using that technology. We have adopted that technology. So that is they come under digital immigrants. Who are digital immigrants? Adopters of web technologies. You prefer to talk in person. You know, I have my faculties who have taught me, many times we chat on WhatsApp, but that faculty, she tells me that, ma'am, we will speak on call. I will not chat with you. I will call you and speak. Even if in today's time of WhatsApp and all, there are people who prefer, rather than WhatsApping, happy birthday, if you want to send. There are people I've seen who call and wish rather than sending message. So that type of people come under the digital immigrants. Logical learners, they are logical learners. They focus one task at a time. We prefer to focus one task at a time. Yes, we are multitasking. We have to do it, but not multitasking as these people do of today's generation. We will come to this. They prefer, digital immigrants prefer to have interaction with one or few people rather than many. Either they interact with one people at a time, or maybe 2 to 3 people, not 10 people together. And they still follow this traditional news websites, or they still follow traditional news. Yeah, they still follow this traditional news website, or they still read newspapers, even if this information is available at on tip of their mobile, but they don't use that. They want to read newspaper only. That is comfortable for them. So such type of people, you can say, come under digital immigrants. Now we will come to digital natives of today's generation, which we are speaking. Digital natives are born during or after the digital age, and they are always attached to a phone or any other digital device. They are intuitive learners. They generally multitask and rapidly task switch. One time they will do their homework. Here they will watch movie also together. They will watch movie also together. They will do their homework also. Some other work also they will do together. So they multitask. They are extremely social and multimedia oriented. They learn through multimedia. This textbooks and all don't interest them much. You will tell them to read, no, they will not read. I have seen students, they tell me, ma'am, how much oral you want to ask me? No, ask me. I will give you oral. Don't make me to write. Nowadays, students don't want to write. In classroom, when I teach and when I teach through PPT, students tell me, ma'am, can I click picture? Sometimes if I tell them to write important points, they will not write that also. They will tell me that, can I click picture? I strictly tell them, no, these are important points. These pointers should be there in your book. And they write it. So they have become so technologically savvy that everything they want to keep that in phone. So you can see who are digital immigrants. Baby boomers who were born in 1946 to 1964. Then came Generation X, who were born in this time. Then came Generation Y, 1986 to 2000. Then came Generation Next, millennials, you can say. So these were people in this generation. They were people where this technology was not available so much. So they are digital immigrants, and these current generation, yesterday also we have done Alpha, Generation Alpha. So they are digital natives. So hope so you all are clear about this term digital natives. One image I saw on internet, so I thought to share with you. Digital native 2.0. What we discussed here was digital native, you can say 1.0. Now you can see everything digital. Now smartwatch everyone knows. Shoes also I'm aware. Smart X, I am not aware. This I am not aware. Maybe there will be a time. This is the future. Maybe this can happen. Smart glasses, we are aware. There are VR glasses. Smart pill, I have heard of. There is research going on. This I have heard of. Smart tattoo, I am not aware. I am not aware about this. Smart transportation, I am aware. Smart belt, I have not seen. Smart nails also I have not seen. So you can see, any one of you have seen this smart belt, smart tattoo, you can please share with me. Smart X. Other than this, smart glasses and all, everyone is aware. But have you seen this smart nail, smart tattoo, smart belt? Anyone? Okay, so this is like digital native 2.0. Maybe this might be a future. So keeping students engaged for a longer time is a roller coaster ride, is a tricky thing. And to avoid this, you should manage students, how you are going to manage your students, some tricks, some activities are important to keep students engrossed. Very important point is not just lecture, not just go on lecturing, it feels boring, it feels bore for many of the students now of today's generation. So use multimedia, use some activity, discuss something, ask them questions, ask them some ideas, their understanding, try to understand their viewpoint. Why media is important, multimedia or any video you're showing from internet, why it is important for students' engagement. Very, very important role media plays. I want everyone to read this. Please read this. Once you complete reading, please tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Completed reading.
Done? Okay. So this article or small sentences were about Angel Oak tree, which is thought to be oldest tree in Mississippi. They were around 400 years old, and it is very huge. And it has not won any awards for its height. And you can't see this whole tree. It is not coming in your photograph of your camera or your cell phone. It's so huge. Okay. So now if I told you about this, you tell me for how much time you will remember this. Can you tell me for how much time or how many days you will remember this thing? Anyone? How much time you will remember this? Maybe 1 day, 2 days, 1 month.
Maybe
How long you will remember this?
Maybe few minutes, ma'am.
1 month.
Always immediately.
Okay.
Because
1 day.
before a day. For it.
If you're
Ma'am,
interested in the
exact
subject,
data-
you might
exact
remember
data
for
will not-
longer.
Ma'am,
Exact
3-4
data will
days,
not be
if I'm
remember.
not repeating it after some hour,
Hmm.
it will remain 3-4 days.
Okay.
And if it is repeated twice or 3 times with a gap of time, it will remain up to a year or more.
No, ma'am. The point is that
Probably
when
if you are
you'll have a query, curiosity. So immediately you will go into an internet search for it, and immediately that curiosity will make this tree imprint in your mind forever.
Okay.
Ma'am, since we are discussing, we'll be remembering it forever, I think.
Okay. Yes. Yes. It's true. Very true.
They might also remember it forever
Don't
because I've
remember the
actually
elephant,
imagined that
you'll
entire
always
tree in my
remember the
mind.
elephant.
Okay. So
Discussion is a very nice method of learning.
yeah, discussion. Yes, always. So coming to this topic, everyone please mute. Thank you for replying. So this topic about this tree, take example, if you get interest about this tree, yes, it is so big tree, it is not coming in my camera, viewfinder, etc. So maybe it can interest you, and maybe we have discussed, you will remember for a long time. But if you will remember more when you see this image. So if you see photograph of that massive tree, you will remember this. Yes, this was the tree. Take example, there are 10 varieties, 10 species of tigers present, 10 species of any other birds present. If you see that image of that bird, you will remember for longer time. Similarly, if you use good media in your lessons can not only improve your students' understanding, but it will also make memorable for students. Students will remember this. Yes, such a tree was there. When they have seen image, they can always recollect image first, then they will recollect whatever was written about that tree. So aim for showing you this was use multimedia, use media in your lessons so that students are engaged. Understand your students, it is must. Be patient with your students. Understanding of students is must. Like yesterday also I told you that whenever you're taking session, see that to which background students are. Take example, if you are teaching in IIMs, or you can assume that all students there are from top ABC IIM students are above 99 percentile. So there, any professor, if that professor will start topic, say OB, so student is not going to, professor is not going to start with basics. Professor will assume that yes, they are aware about basics. Maybe professor will give them some notes about basics that you have to read and keep, but it is not necessary that professor is going to teach them from base. So you have to understand which type of students, what type of students you are teaching. Maybe in your college students are from mediocre level, and you have to teach them from basics. Set limits, keep rules and regulations of your class. Keep to schedule what you have said. Try to keep schedule. What do you mean by schedule? If you have thought that I have to teach this much topic today, try to be on that schedule. Yes, maybe students are getting bored or something. Little bit one topic you left, it is fine. But whatever you have said, you have to complete that. Take example. This is very, very important thing, and which I also follow. Many a times last benches you will see they will chit chat. You can also understand from that they are not writing. If you are doing giving them some practical work, they don't write. They just have to write. So what I do, I go for round there and I see there. And so if I catch them, then I something or the other, I tell them that do this thing for 2 times and come, or some other thing I tell them to do, or tell them to give presentation on this topic. So maybe next time they're aware that they should not do like that. So when you walk around, you will come to know that what students are doing, and also they can ask you doubts also if they are not able to ask in front of others. Don't forget, always remember, yes, we know that technology is taking over teachers, but it can never replace teacher. Technology is just a tool in terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them. The teacher is the most important part. This was the thing given by Bill Gates. Activities we have discussed. You can do discussion, role playing, peer-to-peer discussion, which we do in group projects, group activity, collaboration, various games you can play. Some surveys you can tell them to conduct. When you are giving some research topic and all, they can conduct survey. So these things, the case study method is there. Movie analysis method is also there, where you take a movie and analyze that movie, and some management lessons you learn from movie, like 3 Idiots, Lagan, etc. So such activities are conducted by various professors in different classes. Tips to prepare activities in virtual classroom. Research your audience, which we have discussed. Change activities once in a while. Don't do always same activity of group discussion or same activity of on the quiz. Do something else. There are various softwares available. Yes, I would also like to share with you, there are various classroom management softwares also available. Classroom management softwares, everything you can put your sessions there. One example you can take of Google Classroom. Many professors are using. Trigger emotions in your students. Try to bring rational thinking by role playing, by giving them some activity. Fix time of every activity. Like example, activity of 30 minutes or 15 minutes. So that it should not happen that your time is only going in activity. You should also teach. You have to balance it with teaching and activity, so that both are balanced and students' interest is also not lost. Focus is also there. Prepare all needed materials. Whichever tools you are using, whichever video you are using, prepare it, download it beforehand only, or open that, keep that link ready. At that time, you should not search for that video in your classroom. So these are some tips which you have to keep in mind in virtual plus traditional classroom also. So thank you everyone. Here I end my session. So you can ask me any questions.
Participants, You can ask any questions now.
Good to see you, ma'am.
So dear participant, this is going to be your last day. So let's hear from some new voices. So all 7 days, I think you have been busy with attending various sessions and 14 speakers. So let's hear some new voices. We are around 160 people are here. Or else Professor Shalu will pick you to answer some of her questions also. So looking forward.
So they have posted messages on chat box. Questions on chat box.
Not a question, it's
Okay,
just
okay,
a
fine.
response. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Can I just speak?
Yes, sir.
Able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was, when you were asking about virtual classes, I was just telling, but I think that my earphone had a problem. My voice was not gained over there. I was just replying the answer. There was no things.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. You can share what you
Yes,
are
ma'am.
telling earlier.
Because many voices were there, so it was interrupted, and I'm not able to. Ma'am, you were telling about I think that is it better to create interesting facts in the classroom, ma'am? Is it
Interesting facts you are telling?
Troubled. That's what interesting facts inside the classroom, ma'am. Before going to class.
Yes, ma'am. Interesting facts also. There are various facts and figures in what topic you're teaching. Take example, if you're teaching about economics or any banking topic or any, take example, science you're teaching. So interesting facts, you can show them. You can show them some research which has happened in your field. I'm speaking about higher standard students.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Even me too. I'm an MBA faculty.
Yeah, same, ma'am. Yeah.
So that we mostly take about business facts, and mostly we take about advertisements, marketing facts over there.
Yes.
So for create interest, because some classes that should not be getting bored. We try to create interesting facts over jokes, like as you said, like comics. I think this will this be implemented in all the courses, ma'am? For example, for practical classes, will it be applicable, ma'am? Practical classes in all the cases, like what you said, will it be applicable, ma'am?
Ma'am, all cases I doubt, but majority of these tips which we have discussed today is applicable in all fields. Any field you take, in any subject you take, but again activities will differ from subject to subject, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
In practical subjects, how you're going to conduct activities, that you have to see. Maybe take example, if you are teaching them cash flow statement or balance sheet, you're telling them, so you can tell them that pick out some statement of take DMart or Avenue Supermarts and analyze that statement. So tell me about various ratios. So in practical way, you can go to that. After teaching them theory, practical part, tell them to take any company and give them some assignment so that they come to know how in reality these companies' cash flows are there, what you can analyze from there, etc.
Because some cases when we ask about feedback, from some cases some students tell that accounts class, it is boring, ma'am, we will not go. If it is any like of communication classes, marketing classes, things that where you can create interest in that classes, people are it is a course of international business management subjects, like a very dry paper where you want to study about GATT, WTO, just grain the students about all the international things. Sometimes they get bored upon that. Though we are giving some interesting facts also, interesting facts are given, suddenly they get drained because of feeling like, because 2 or 3 classes, for example, accounts class would have come. Some people like logistics, some people do not like logistics. They say it's bore, ma'am. Statistics classes only one or two, what do you call this? 100 out of 100, just 80 students are interested in statistics. 20 students are not interested in statistics. So in that case, what's happening is that they are getting drained because of this. So what to do in that cases, man? How to make all the classes very effective, ma'am?
Ma'am, about theory subjects, I would like international business, which you are telling. I also teach international subject business, this subject. So, ma'am, what I do in my session is take example, PPT already we are having. So I take example, if I have taught World Bank or I have taught IMF, so I will show them some facts about IMF. Some very good videos are available on YouTube on IMF. So that becomes also revision for them, and they also feel interested when they listen that. Same goes with all the theory subject like OB and all. OB, if you are teaching any topic personality, try to show them personality of show them that these people are from different personalities, Hitler, Mahatma Gandhi, etc. So when they see some interesting things, they feel engrossed in that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, basically, I want to ask you because normally I'm teaching in MBA classes also, and my area is HR and law, labor laws and everything, ownership development, change management, performance management. These papers I'm teaching. So you feel that in all these PG classes, if person have a practical experience also, if person have industry background also, he can give more emphasis in the classroom also, with theoretical as well as practical part, so that it's easy for the student also, because they have to enter the corporate world. Now, if they understand the theoretical part as well as practical part, that will give them extra edge, and as well as the behavioral issue they have to you can say when they enter the corporate sector, how they have to work, how to behave, etiquettes, these things are matter. So practical exposure is more important or not, as per your understanding?
Sir, I think in the subjects like the example, if you are teaching the subjects, might be professor may have this corporate experience. So in case if you are having corporate experience, you can share with students your experience. In case you don't have, take example, if I am having corporate experience in finance, but I also teach some HR subjects, industrial relations and all. So in that, I don't have corporate experience. So I try to get majority of information from internet. I come to know, and then what we do in our college, take example, if I am not from that background, I don't have experience. So we arrange 1 or 2 guest faculties from corporates who come and speak about how this IR is maintained in corporates. And sir, on internet, on Google and all, lot of things you come to know how practical is also done, but obviously there is edge for a person who has been working in that field. So we try to arrange guest lectures of that professor in our college.
Right.
And sir, anytime, anyways, when they go to corporate, every corporate functioning is different. So there they have to anyways learn. Corporates,
yes.
what they expect is there's theoretical knowledge you are having. What practicality topics, whatever practicality is required, they teach them according to their training is given to them, sir.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, myself is Soundarya. You have explained about all the topics regarding how to handle classes online and any extra activities that is to be done. And what about it when it comes to evaluation? Being a school teacher of myself, how about we are going to face the evaluation process?
Ma'am, in online classes, this evaluation is a hurdle again. And as you are aware, I'm telling you about my case in MBA colleges. AICTE has told that exams will not be happening, and you have to take examination. So what we are doing is we are taking online Viva rather than giving them test, like giving them Google form or something test, so they can copy. Ma'am, we don't have any softwares to detect copying. So what we are doing is we are taking their Vivas. Topics are given to them. Every subject, 10 subjects are there per semester. Every subject professor is going to take 15 minutes Viva per student, per subject.
Okay.
So some ways, ma'am, you have to find out till this system is still foolproof, or some other things we don't, evaluation is not proper, because till now in this thing we don't have proper evaluation.
Okay, whatever the design, only if the evaluation is perfect, the entire design it's going to be perfect. So
Yes.
I'm worried really about the evaluation. If evaluation is not going to be there.
That's a major hurdle, ma'am. Major hurdle, evaluation.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, ma'am. I just want to thank you. My name is Atik, and I'm attending your session from Kuwait. I'm a school teacher of CBSE. I teach accountancy and business studies. So it was a thought-provoking session. I really want to thank you. That it was amazing and so informative. We will definitely try all your tips and techniques which you have given in the classroom teaching. I'm teaching virtually since last 3 months. Since March 12th, I'm taking online classes. We've never stopped. We never got a break. And we are really enjoying. And I don't feel even if the school doesn't open physically, we can go with it. So I can say we can live with it. Right? So thank you so much for all your tips. And I don't have any questions, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Sir, any different structure you follow or some other techniques you follow in Kuwait educational system?
We are using Microsoft Teams,
Okay.
for online classes. That is one of the tools. Then regarding the examinations, we are taking multiple choice MCQs, and we are taking Viva, and that is how we conducted first term examination, because we are now about to begin a summer break for 3 months.
Sir,
we
so
are
how you
closing-
will come to know about MCQs, that whether that student is copying or not? How you will come to know that?
There is no control on it, ma'am. We have given 30 minutes and 30 questions. So they just, students those who don't answer even one single question in the Viva, but in the MCQs test, they've all got 30 out of 30. So we
Yes.
cannot have any control on it.
No control, yes. Sir, so here also tools are available. So many tools are available, but how to control that, that is not available.
Yeah, but at present we have to go with it. So we are just doing it so that students are, busy in something.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So thank you so much everyone for your questions, and thank you so much, ma'am, for answering politely. I request any few participants, is the last day, so any few participants can share your overall thoughts on the overall program for the last 7 days. You have been for the 14 sessions so far. So is there any participant who would like to give overall feedback?
Yes, Dinesh.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to give overall feedback.
Yeah. First one is Mr. Rajan Sharma, and then second one is Madam Susan Manuel. Yeah.
Yes.
Can I speak now?
Yes, sir. Please.
First of all,